Hello students, I am Pooja Anand Gaikwad, lecturer, Civil Engineering Department from Brahmadev Dadamane Polytechnic, Belati, Solapur. Today we will study Unit 1, Sources, Quantity and Quality of Water, Part 2 from the course Public Health Engineering, Code 22504 of the program Civil Engineering, 5th semester. Today we will cover need to protect water supplies, flow diagram of water supply scheme, function of units, demands of water. Now we will see why there is need to protect water supplies. Water is used for drinking, teeth cleaning, hand washing, bathing, showering, food preparation and cooking. Needs to be free from harmful germs and chemicals. Clean water does not always means the water is safe. So for basic day-to-day activities, we need water. Major sources of water supply contaminations are sewage pollution, including septic tanks. Septic tanks is an underground chamber through which domestic wastewater flows for basic treatment. Animal feces, especially if animals are within 10 meters of a water supply. Fertilizers. Disease causing bacteria and viruses may enter a water supply at the source. Example, through animal or human feces. Some of the most commonly found bacteria are E. coli and Salmonella, etc. Waterborne germs can cause serious illness like diarrhea and vomiting, which can be particularly dangerous for infants, old peoples, or people with damaged immune system. Some areas may have chemical contaminants like nitrate, arsenic and boron, iron, etc. A high nitrate concentration can affect breathing. The chemicals like these can have some effect on living organisms. Hence, there is need to protect water supplies. This flow diagram represents sequential step-by-step water supply scheme in detail, starting from source to the distribution system. So, we will see the function of each unit. The flow diagram starts with source, which we have seen in detail. Second is intake structure, that also we have seen in detail. Third is bar screen. Bar screen is used to remove floating matter from water. Next, low lift pump well. These pumps lift the water to the flow through the treatment processes by gravity. Next, pre-chlorination. It is also referred as primary disinfection to disinfect the water. Next, coagulation and flocculation. Coagulants rapidly and electrochemical charges that attract the smaller charges in water to clamp together as a flow. This initial charge neutralizes process also the formed flow to agglomerate but remain suspended. This means small particles come together for cleaning of water. Flocculation. by slower mixing turbulence causes the flocculated water to form larger floc particles that become cohesive and increase in mass. This visible floc is kept in suspension until large enough to settle under the influence of gravity. These small combine to form big flocs and afterwards they are treated. Next, sedimentation basin. Flocculated water is supplied to large volume tanks where the flow speed slows down and the dense floc settles in the sedimentation tank. Filtration. Remaining impurities is removed in filters. Post chlorination. It is also referred as secondary disinfection. Supplemental chlorine is added to maintain disinfection concentration while the water is pumped through the distribution system. The purpose is to ensure minimum residual disinfectant levels at the farthest point of the system. Sump well. Filtered water is stored in sump well. High lift pump well. Treated drinking water is pumped out through large pressure pumps to other pumping stations, reservoirs or points of supply within the local distribution system. Next is elevated water storage tank, in short ESR. ESR ensures stable water pressure in distribution system. Last, distribution system. Distribution systems are comprised of large pipes known as trunk mains to deliver drinking water. Smaller diameter branch mains feed individual streets. Service connections to branch mains deliver water pipes into residencies. Pumping stations are used to increase the pressure and to maintain the adequate supply flows. Functions of unit. Bar screen. Vertical bars helps to drain out the floating materials present in water. These bars will hold the big size materials and the water flow through the bars to the other side. Coagulation and flocculation. Small particle combines is called as coagulation, and when they form bigger, it is known as flocculation. In this diagram, you can clearly see the difference between coagulation and flocculation. Sedimentation basin. In this figure, you can see sedimentation basin. Filtration. Water is filtered using sand and gravel. As you can see in the image, sand and gravel are used. Elevated water storage tank, that is ESR. Image shows ESR. Distribution system. In this image, we can see that how water is distributed from elevated water storage tank to individual houses. We can also see the networks of pipelines in detail. Demands of water. The amount of water required to satisfy various demands is known as demand of water. There are various types of water demands. First, domestic demand. Second, public demand. Third, industrial, commercial and institutional. Fourth, fire demand. Fifth, losses and wastes. Domestic demand. Definition. The water needed for drinking, cooking, washing, bathing, lawn sprinkling, gardening, sanitation purpose, and air conditioning, etc. in residential building is known as domestic demand. The demand may lie between 50 to 350 liters per capita per day. The demand depends upon habits, living conditions, and standards of people. So, as per IS standards, that is Indian standards for residencies, domestic demands is about 135 liters per capita per day. This demand is about 55 to 60% of total demand. So now we will see how 135 liters per capita per day is distributed among the various activities. Now there is column for purpose and there is another column for water consumption. So first we have for drinking 5 liters per capita per day is used. Second, for cooking, same 5 liters per capita per day is used. For bathing, 55 liters per capita per day. Washing clothes, 20 liters per capita per day. Washing utensils, 10 liters per capita per day. House washing, 10 liters per capita per day. Toilet flushing, 30 liters per capita per day. Total becomes 135 liters per capita per day. Public demand. Definition. Water need for washing streets, swimming pools, public parks, fountains, and ornamental displays in city. Flushing of public toilets and intermittent flushing of underground sewers, etc. That is for municipal purpose is known as public demand. Public demand may range from 20 to 70 liters per capita per day. The average demand may be taken as 25 liters per capita per day. In India, this demand is about 5 to 10% of the total consumption. Consumption of water for public demands is approximately as follows. So we have column for purpose and particular water consumption column. So for public parks, 2.5 liters per square meter per day. For road washing, 1 to 1.5 liters per square meter per day. Sewer flushing, 4.5 liters per hour per day. Roadside trees, 28,150 liters per kilometer per day. Industrial, commercial, and institutional demand. Definition. The water required for offices, shopping centers, hotels, cinema houses, schools, colleges, hostels, hospitals, railway and bus stations and various industries is known as industrial, commercial and institutional demand. Now we will see approximate demand of water for few industries, which is given in the table below. So we have column for type of industry, its particular unit of production and its respective water requirement in kilometers per unit. For sugar, 1 bag of 100 kgs, its water requirement is 0.1 to 2 kilometers per that unit. Textile, 100 kgs, 8 to 14. Paper, in tons 200 to 400. Fertilizers in ton 80 to 200. Automobile per vehicle it is 40. Leather 100 kg 4. Now approximate demand of water for buildings other than residences. So there is classification of building and respective water requirement in liters per day. Hospitals including laundry. First one is having number of beds less than 100. Its particular water requirement is 340 per bed. In that next one we have number of beds greater than 100, 455 per bed. Nurses and doctors quarters 135 per head. Hotels 180 per bed. Restaurants 70 per seat, that is individual. Then schools, day schools we have 45 per head. Residential schools 135 per head. Fire demand. Definition. Fire may break in any area at any time, causing serious damage to the property and loss of life. Large quantity of water is required for extinguishing fire. Thus, quantity of water required for extinguishing fire is known as fire demand. The total demand of fire in a year may be small, but the rate of consumption at any time is very large. So it is difficult to estimate when the fire will break and what will be its extent. So fire demand is generally calculated based on the following empirical formulae. So Kuchling's formula, Q is equal to 3182 under root P. Freeman's formula, Q is equal to 1136.50. In bracket we have P divided by 5 plus 10. Where Q stands for fire demand in liters per minute and P stands for population in 1000. So continuing that, Government of India recommends cities having population more than 50,000. So we are going to use the formula Q is equal to 100 under root P. Q stands for fire demand in kiloliters per day and P stands for population in 1000. Buston's formula, Q is equal to 5663 under root P liters per minute. National Board of Fire Underwriters formula, Q is equal to 4637 under root P into 1 minus 0.01 under root P in liters per minute. Losses and wastes. Loss of water in distribution system may be due to careless use of water, leakage in mains, valves and other fittings, unauthorized water connection, etc. Wastage is also caused by the residential consumers by throwing stored water for collecting fresh water. This quantity may be about 20 to 25% in well-maintained distribution system. This quantity may be as high as 50%. Thank you.